Instagram Live open on the other tab. And once I see it there, then it's like I know it's everywhere.
Perfect. Remember to don't touch my mic.
Tee. Come on now. And it's connecting. And go live here too. Perfect. Okay, so I'm double
Fun.
on the Facebook too. And we're also live on the Facebook. And live
Yay.
on the Twitter. We're live everywhere.
We live, baby.
Okay, so hello, everyone. It's your favorite legendary opinionated Amerislav here at Rich and Hydrated. Every time you hear Rich and Hydrated, we all have to take a little sip because I believe if we all collectively take a little sip, we create this magical portal of richness and hydration. For the new listeners, this is hashtag Team No Delusion. I will not be cutting out any stutters. If I have to yell at my dogs, I will be like, wait a minute, my dogs have to figure out their life, etc. If phone goes, if child goes, it's how it is. But today we have with us Tati.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
So obviously we're gonna, there's no rules, by the way.
Perfect.
One thing that I want to like kind of bring up before we go into like how fucking epic your life is we had a conversation in one of our masterminds where you were like, how do I explain to all the people all the fucking extreme stuff that I've been through and all the life chapters that I've lived, right? Because average people be like, I had half a career, I had maybe one hobby, and you're like, oh, that's like 1 year in my life.
Literally. Like, and that's so hard to explain to people who don't get it, as you know. Yeah. Overload.
How do you refer to yourself? Because I tend to refer to people like you and I as like extremists, the 5%ers, because people like you and I, multi-talented, have had several skills, lives, careers. We kind of like exist, and then like a lot of results come in. Kind of like we can half-ass and already like life becomes amazing. And I always say, like, can you imagine if we really fucking go in, like it's done, it's over for bitches.
Absolutely. I explain, I don't even know. I don't think I have like one verbiage that I use. I bounce around because it depends what's happening in my life. But I actually found this TED Talk that like completely changed my life in many ways, and it touched on this subject and what it was about. So it's by Emily Wapnick, and the TED Talk was called Why Some of Us Don't Have One True Calling. And it was about people who live all these lives and they do all these incredible things. And that was the first time I didn't feel super duper alone in my life. And what she calls people like us are multi-potentialites. So I don't necessarily like use that verbiage for me, but when she explained it through the lens of like being multi-talented and having all these multi-potentials and being drawn to many things, and why that's so sacred of a role rather than, as society deems it as like a flaw, or, I've always felt like a weird way about it my whole life. And when she called it a multi-potentialite and then just kind of explained how magical we are because of that, I kind of started to use that verbiage a little more, but like that just eye-opening of like, wow, people are built like us and it is for a reason. And yeah, we are weird. I'm not going to say we're not. I love the weirdness of it, but like it's so magical and purposeful. And I used to feel scattered for no reason. And so to answer your question, I don't have one verbiage, but I finally feel like through multiple verbiages, I found my people. Like we are the extremists. I've lived so many lives as and only a certain amount of us can really even understand what that even means. Like I couldn't even explain this to a normal person because
this is the thing, and me and my fellow extremists, we often like joke about this, that I always say, for one, I'm happy that I've had witnesses through several of because otherwise I'd be like,
nobody will believe it.
Mentally ill? Are you just making shit up? Whereas with my fellow extremists is I can even list it off and they'll be like, yeah, like there's zero, I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to explain how that's even possible. Like things just are the way they are. And I feel like a big portion of that. Oh, by the way, what I was hoping with our episode this time, maybe we can do more episodes, is to give you a platform also to like touch on all these like chapters and actually give a little background about you. Then you can always plug in people like, hey, oh, you want to hear about my crazy background? Just go to that episode. And then until you have your own wild, big platform too on that level.
Love it.
And It's like, yeah, you don't have to explain it to fellow extremists. They all understand.
They
And
just
I
get
feel
it.
like the huge during upbringing, I don't know if that was the case for you, is like, why can't you just focus on one thing? Well, you can never just stick with one thing. And now I understand that like all entrepreneurs wear fucking 7 million hats, right?
Yep.
So it was the preface, but society definitely tried to beat that out of me, fucking discipline that out of me, push and punish that out of me. What did it look like for you when you were growing up?
You know what? I feel like that's a hard one because I kind of caught different things from all different angles. So like when it came to sports, like my coach one time, I had a coach one time who really he spoke to me in a way I liked it. I like the rough and direct and but like he got fired because he took it too far and like people couldn't handle it, right? But anyway, he told me one time that I have the attention, what do you say? I have the attention span of a goldfish. And he didn't mean it as far as like in practice, but like what I enjoy doing, or like I'll be going deep with this and then I go deep with something else. And like I just I'm not like the doctor, obviously, that like just sticks with one thing and they're really good at it forever and like that's their thing. So that was actually probably the first time that I really took it on negatively because I was also really good at basketball. So it's like, what do you mean I have the attention span of a goldfish? Like I'm just being, you know? And that really kind of, so it wasn't until high school that I kind of like felt self-conscious about it. Because before that, I wasn't
What
like,
age is high school for us non-Americans?
oh, 16, 17, 18. So like 15 through 18 is
Mhm, mhm.
probably when I really started to figure out all of this. And it was through sports that was probably the first time because in sports you kind of have to like stick with what that thing is and like really be all in and I can do that, but also in the locker room I'm gonna be building something else or you know having these different conversations or on the sidelines like you know I have to beef it up a notch. So that was the first time it really kind of like they were like, "What are you doing? Why are you not like why is your brain not the same?" And I'm like, "I actually don't know, but don't compare me to a goldfish." Um, in school, I was really, really smart, but the feedback that a lot of my teachers had was also not sticking with one thing or not paying attention for the whole class. And you couldn't put me next to anybody because I'd make friends with everybody. I'm talking to whoever's next to me, whether they're like my friend or not friend. Like, so again, just not being able to stick with one thing, stay focused for too long. Like, you know what I mean? You're teaching me something and I can already finish your sentences. I can't stay in this hour-long classroom like listening to you. So but I would excel as far as school goes. So, you know, I never really took that on as a flaw necessarily because I was still able to excel. But people around me that were in like authority positions pointed it out in a negative way. And that was the first time I was like, why is this like a bad thing? And then I could see how I spent the next few years of my life trying to figure out what is my thing? Like what is the thing I'm supposed to focus on? Like, what does that even mean? I still can't even wrap my head fully around that. And then I went to college and then a whole world opened up. I went to Rutgers University in New Jersey, which wasn't too far from my home. It was probably about a little over an hour, but it was still a separate state. So I was able to really, it was a different world, you know? Um, and same thing. I was on the rowing team there. I walked onto the rowing team and even like I turned down basketball scholarships to go to this college. So again, that's another thing. Like, why couldn't you stick with basketball? Like you literally were excelling. You got scholarships, turned them down to completely pivot and try something you've never done before. Like it's so outlandish. None of my friends understood. And funny enough, until recently, which is almost 10 years later, I never even gave myself credit for walking onto a Division 1 rowing team, never having rowed a day in my life. And until I was like explaining this to another extremist and who actually was a coach at the time, and she was like, hold on. We can't just breeze past that. That's not normal. And then I started to kind of really deconstruct my path and realize how I don't operate normally. And I started to finally put together like the pieces and the coaching and other people who really helped me see that like I was created this way for a reason. And if I was meant to stick with one thing or do one thing, that's what would have happened. But that's not the case. So it definitely was some shaming. And same with my parents. They didn't, my parents are very supportive in what I do, but they don't understand anything I do.
Sure.
And we really connected over the sport. So again, when I like quit basketball and I didn't take the scholarships, like they just don't quite understand why I pivot the way I do.
Right.
And I don't feel the need to explain it to them because I feel like it's my journey, not theirs. So I did catch it from multiple angles, but I'm very, very grateful that it was never in a It truly wasn't in a horrible way. Like, they weren't like putting me down. They just didn't understand it. And they wanted me to, I'm an exceller by nature. So their way of seeing me excel was to stick with one thing, go hard. Like, people around me would always tell me, like, if you would just focus on this one thing, like, can you imagine how amazing it would be? And I'm like, yes, I can, but I wouldn't be amazing, you know? And that's not something you can, again, explain to people who don't get it. So I was very supported by my parents, but they don't understand what I do or why I operate the way I do. And I think it took many years to finally just have peace with that and stop explaining myself to anybody who doesn't understand. Peers on the internet, peers in real life, teammates, people that I coach, like anything. If you don't get it, it's a you problem. It's not even a you problem. It's just not for you. And that's okay
It's
with
not
me.
even a problem. It just, yeah,
Not a
we're
problem.
just talking in a different box. What I found really healing, like observing you from the sidelines and like being in your orbit, two things. For one, you're a self-proclaimed extrovert, right? And
Absolutely.
you're
Oh yeah, I love people.
right, same. And I feel like we've come out of at least in the digital spaces where it was kind of cool to not like people, to be like a loner, or a lot of successful people who are good with people, but they're by default introverted. I'm like, am I the only fucking extrovert out there? Like, what are we doing? Like, I'll make
Seriously.
besties at the supermarket, baby. I go past classes. I'll be besties with the trailer trash and the fucking billionaires over there. We good,
All of it.
all of it, all of it.
Yeah.
So I found that extremely healing to see like a fellow super successful extrovert. And what I
Thank
really
you.
loved is your recent video about, and you got so passionate. Oh, it was so good. Like, the reason why it's hard, it's because it's fucking sacred. You are here to bust the curses. That's on you. And I'm getting goosebumps as I
Me
talk.
too.
That was, I don't know how many views that one had. 200 are at least from me because I've just had it on repeat. It was so good. And
Thank
it's
you.
definitely like, because we've all heard, especially in business or athlete corner, you just gotta love the grind, right? Like, we love a David Goggins. Don't get me wrong. Like, you gotta love the grind, you gotta love the
Right.
hustle. And yes, but to make it sacred, to make the hardship of breaking the curse sacred, woo,
Oh man. Now you're speaking my
take me to church.
language.
Take me to
Yes.
church, baby.
Literally. You know what has been so not weird, but again, you'll get it. I've been drawn to breaking the curses in my family before I even understood what that meant. Like, I have vivid memories of like knowing that this isn't what I wanted to do and this wasn't what I wanted to pass down. And again, not that things were horrible, but things definitely weren't great. They weren't good. And I actually didn't realize that till I was an adult. And I was like, oh, that stuff wasn't normal. Like, you guys, that didn't happen to you and your family. Oh, okay. So I see where this trauma is coming from now. But that's very, yeah, it was very like something that was like visceral to me that I've always known I was going to be the one to do it differently. And I didn't know, I wasn't always called to be a mother, which is so funny because I am obsessed with motherhood. I am the best mother in the whole world. You can't tell me any differently. Like, I only call great mothers into my orbit. It is, but it wasn't like my whole life's calling. Like, when I used to visualize my future when I was little, I didn't have kids. I think I had a theoretical family, but I never like dreamed of the wedding, dreamed of the children, dreamed of. So I didn't know again how my path was going to materialize. But when me and my husband decided that, because we intentionally did have my daughter and decided we were going to grow a family, and this was conversations, and I was like, oh, this is like really my chance to do things differently. And me and my husband both live across the country from our entire family, so I knew it was going to be hard, but I was really excited about that because we were able to do things our own way. We didn't have the grandparents down the street that were infiltrating, which we could have the boundaries and all that, but it's so much easier that they're all literally across the country. And that made it so much harder in so many ways. Like, it is obviously not easy being a mother, but I knew I actually could break all of the curses and chains and traumas in our whole entire lineage because I had the space to raise my child exactly by our own standards and how we want to. And I even had the chills again because, again, I didn't understand what that meant when I was little, but then stepping into motherhood, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what it was all for. It all came together like this vortex, And when I think about the ways that I already was able to break the change, which is so crazy because it's not like a tangible thing. So to talk to, it's hard to kind of talk about these very intangible transformations, but like raising a daughter who doesn't have any of the beliefs that I grew up having or have any of the limitations, that doesn't have anybody speaking to her in the way that people are speaking to me. And she's not overseeing any of the things that I thought were normal until I was an adult. And we're able to be home with her full time and pour into her the lessons and wisdom that I know her little soul needs. And funny enough, I have the coolest daughter ever. But another thing I've known since I was little, which is so weird, and again, people thought I was crazy for it, but I've always known that like if I were to have a kid, whatever soul was to come to me, I don't know what they went through in their past life, but I was here to heal them. I'm here to give them the abundance of the world. Like my little baby's not going to have to suffer. She's not going to have to, she's going to be able to live in her purpose and her passion. And I'm assuming she went through whatever she had to go through in her past life to, almost like earn this life. But I've known that whatever child came of me, I was going to be able to create that for them. And it's so crazy. It's actually the first time me saying that out loud, but like, I know that that's exactly what I've done for my daughter. I don't have one question. I know that that is entirely, yeah, it's crazy, but she gets to have everything I've ever dreamed of. And she doesn't even know that I've been preparing for this my entire life. And because of that, her little soul gets to experience whatever it is that she's meant to experience in this world. And there's no greater gift I can give myself or give her or like anybody in the world. So to reel this back in, it took me a long time. I don't believe in niche. Like I can't do the niche thing. I don't get it. But I do know I'm obsessed with helping powerful women because we have the power to change generations with the kids we have or the impact we have. Like I love powerful women for because I was like the powerful little girl that nobody knew what to do with. And I want to help all those powerful little girls as the women and the women that they are and help them step into whatever that means, and hopefully they pass that down through their lineage because like the work we do gets to help generations, which is so deep. Like that's crazy. We're talking about crazy things right now,
You're talking about
and oh
empires.
my goodness, empires that like we get to help people create by being themselves, and I don't know, just feeling worthy and all of the things. So I'm obsessed with mothers and women and the generation of it all, the beyond us, the beyond what we can see, like beyond just a business, like the impacts and the legs that that has beyond anything that we can quantify, like the wins that I have in life aren't numbers. They're not quantifiable. Even in like the mastermind chats,
They're
I
also
rarely,
numbers. Sure. Yeah.
yeah, like I rarely can get it doesn't quantify the actual
Yeah.
impact of the change. Like I was talking to a friend the other day because I don't want more kids. I want to pour everything into this child. And I pray she wants to have all the kids in the world because I've always known my job was to create this insane foundation for our family. We're going to create business systems and wealth and wisdom and something to always go back to. And so, not just my daughter, but every kid that comes of her and every kid that comes of my daughter's kids and, so on, they get to be who they're meant to be, not based out of survival. And if I make that sacrifice now of creating this insane foundation and then, helping my daughter to navigate that, by the time I'm ready to be a grandma, we can raise all the kids together. The foundation's been set. Like I have changed generations and generations and generations in our lineage. And that's way more important than me having multiple kids right now. Because again, I've known that was my role my entire life. And I never was able to say it, but I've always internally known that. Such a weird thing to pull back those layers now as an adult and be like, wow, I know that feeling. It's not a thing, but it's a feeling. It's a
Well, and
mission.
so I have a huge kid wish, but God's it's not in my books. God's didn't grant me this one, which is great. But I come from a very turbulent background with my mom, and I've always been drawn. I've always been surrounded with mothers who really made it intentional to be mothers like you. So whenever I see you interact with your daughter, it's like a warm blanket for my soul. Like it
Yeah.
like just witnessing that is so healing for us who have broken relationships. So like forevermore, please. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
saying that. Yeah, thank you. Because you know what? I do want it to even impact the people who just like wish they could be that little girl, that know that that's out there for you, but also like you are not my daughter, but I love you like that. Like that
Mhm.
amount of depth and love and support and
Mhm.
wishes for you, all the stuff, like that's not just true for my daughter, that's true for every daughter. And if I
Mhm.
have to be the one, or if, us
The
certain intentional moms
archetype.
have to be the one to pass that on to the people like beyond our own family, like that is what we're here for, you
Yes,
know?
baby.
So thank you for saying that because I want that impact to be way beyond even mothers. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a
Amen.
crazy sacred role, but I've also had many people that I've looked to in my lifetime as like a mother figure that weren't mothers. So being a mother isn't just being born of you, you know what I mean? But it's just like this sacred role of um nurturing and love and guidance, and when you can mix that with intention,
Mm.
you can do that with your friends. You can do that with anybody around you. We're all connected in that way. And I think that's also the other beautiful part of it. And that's actually one of the reasons I had trouble niching down to just mothers because I love women. I
Yeah.
love the power that we have. And I think, not I think, but I know a lot of women don't quite understand the power they have. I know I didn't understand it until the past couple of years. And knowing
Mhm.
how powerful I am, if I
Mhm.
didn't understand it, I'm like, imagine the other women holding this incredible power that are just not awake to it yet because they're in survival mode or because they're in the wrong environment or, whatever. You can't see, the label
Like
from inside the jar.
cultivating that awareness, because I see it with
Exactly.
you all the time too, where you're like, one of my favorite of your posts is, for example, you're cranky and your husband is driving your little golf cart. I fucking love the golf cart videos. And you're just like,
I think I'm making it my whole personality from
I
now on.
love it. I love it. And but the aware so what I cannot say enough great things about your mind. The awareness that it requires to un- realize that you are cranky as a result from hard work, breaking curses, tension, friction, whatever, and then to take that out into a golf cart ride because you get to, because it's doing something soothing to your regulation system while having a husband who's smiling like a little, and dork in the best way, by the way, right? And
Oh,
you're
he
just like,
is.
fuck this shit. You're like, I'm ready to burn houses, baby. But like, so for you to be able to express that fully, also let us witness that from the outside, and your husband to remain in his own energy, to be his dorky self, while you're like a little power steam engine, next to him on the, like that's
Thank you for that. You know what? It's so funny. I was just talking to my husband. I talk about you actually all the time, but I'm obsessed with your self awareness too. And I've noticed that, like, I think that's actually one of the things I try not to be like overbearing. So I don't even think I'm like a stalker, but like your self awareness and how you demonstrate how you're actively leading yourself through different mindset things, it makes me so much more aware. It makes me able to see myself in a different light. And I only have a little more than a handful of people that really are able to do that in a way that makes, it's introspective and transformational for me. And you are absolutely one of those people. So I'm actually not shocked that you see the same thing in me because I think,
support.
you know what I mean? Like we're drawn to those same things in
Yeah.
each other because there's not enough people that are self-aware. I don't want to say that because that might even almost be a limiting belief. What I'm trying to tell myself is there are more people like me. Like we're not the anomalies.
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
we are a little more rare, but I felt so alone my whole life because I felt like nobody else gets it. And finally, over the past couple years, I've been intentionally, now granted, I've had to pay for all my friends, and honestly, paying for friends is the best investment I've ever, like, I didn't
Talk
realize.
about intention. I like people
Yes,
demonize this. I'm like, no, you understand, we've all paid in with big bucos to be in a specific direction. Take my money real fucking fast, baby.
absolutely. And take it twice because
Of
what
course.
I get out of being around like-minded people are people who also are able to be introspective with themselves and be able to like showcase that beautifully on social media, which is not an easy art, and it's not an easy vulnerability. But when you can do that and like to be in an orbit of people that are all understand it, or like I can see you in a different way, but then I go talk to people who literally I don't pay to be around, and like we could never have those conversations. So, I didn't realize that's something I was missing out on all these years because I did build businesses without masterminds. I built businesses without real mentorship. I love free mentorship, and a lot of that came from wanting to do it on my own time. I don't want to be on a call. I don't want to be on a one-to-one. I want to dive into trainings when I can. And at the end of the day, YouTube University has most like tangible strategical things you need. I
Absolutely.
didn't realize that that's not why I was joining a mastermind at all. I don't need, of course, we need tangible, strategic, but
Sure.
to be in the energy, to work through these, again, intangible problems and things that you can't quantify. Like, what am I even, the past version been like, what are you talking about? How is that worth
Little kink in your head, huh?
literally? But
Yeah.
man, has that been a game changer. I'm so grateful that I finally got out of my own way and paid to be in these spaces because I've met the most incredible people who also felt alone, who also felt different, who also are extremely introspective and have taught me so much about themselves, about myself, just by showcasing who they are.
Yeah.
And that's such a rarity. And I feel like I don't know how I'm gonna use this in some way, but like I love the fact that I've paid for all of my closest friends. I love the fact that the people who get me and understand me and help heal me and move me the most are people that like you don't get access to unless you get access to. You know what I mean? They're not people that I would have just found on the streets. I had to go out of my way to
Yeah.
find these people, and it's been the most incredible spaces. So but you being able to there's so much that you do that I'm like, wow, you're just so introspective, you're so self-aware, and that really gives so many people not only permission, but you are like the blueprint in so many ways. And
Mm.
so thank you for seeing that in me as well, because I didn't realize until, I guess that's the whole point. I didn't realize until the past couple of years when I started having people like you. Again, I only have a select few, but like I now
I now
realize what I've been
realize
missing all this time and how valuable that truly is beyond a number,
Yeah.
So I appreciate that a lot. And it's something I'm still working on. And I hope to master it and continue to show more of it and just figure out what that means for me. But so far so good, I would say.
Hell
I
yeah.
just love the journey. I love life. It's so cool, man. It
Life
just
is the best.
compounds and you find your way.
Like
Find
literally,
cool
we live in the best fucking times.
paradise, man. This is the best. I'm so glad I wasn't born in the 50s or something where they couldn't do this stuff. What would I do?
Word.
We would have been lynched. Like we would have I probably have been. I had to have. If I've been anything like this in a past life, I'm sure they offed me quick.
So
I don't
there's
know.
a lot of people have a lot of spiritual people have a theory that I am the first round here as a human. So I'm like, I'm not, yeah, I'm open to that. Where I was like old soul. I'm not sure. People always say like, man, you're probably the first round. You catch up, which makes it sound like you're an old soul, but this is your first round. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Okay, let's
Cool.
go, baby.
Wait, that is so cool. Because first of all, I'm almost positive this wasn't my first round. But if my first round was like that,
Like, let's go, baby.
let's go. I always
Let's
say
go.
I love my mom. She's awesome, but it's definitely her first time on earth. Like she is such a new soul. She's so cutesy. It's definitely she's figuring it out, but she's so new.
I
And
love
that's so
that.
funny because I don't get that same feeling from you. But that doesn't obviously mean anything. Like imagine if your first round is the bit, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like to come out the gate swinging. Damn, that's powerful, dude.
Yeah, and I think I've had one corporate job for like a year in my life, and I remember there was one exercise with like the manager of the managers. You know how in corporate you have all these ladders and like the
Yeah.
hierarchies, and I, for one, I'm very unsensitive to hierarchies. Like and I became known because like the new owner of the owner of the corporation, she had like these big fake tits, and was like strict, and I'm like, oh, you got fake tits, my mom does too, I'll see you next, and everyone was like, what did she just say? And I became really good again because can't relate. I'll respect you for the hustle and work, but I don't have that like anyway, so
Weirdness
that
over me.
right. So that manager of the manager, there was one exercise, and he's like, and I'm like, I'm really good at seeing problems. And he's like, I actually don't think you do. He's like, you're very good at observing patterns and strategies, and then your implication is exceptionally fast, but you don't necessarily see problems. And I'm like, and I think that applies
Ah.
to the first thing in life too, where I don't necessarily can see things or feel things from an old life or like energy. I can just spot patterns real fucking fast. And
That
I'm like,
makes
oh,
sense.
yeah, I'm like that. Okay, I fuck with that.
Damn, that's cool. You know what else is really cool? Like being around people who can see you and see through
Yeah.
you. And whether
Oh,
they're right or wrong, but I like when people offer me their idea of what they see or think or feel, and then I get to try it on or see what I feel about that. But I feel like I see through a lot of people, and I'm that person for a lot of people.
mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's rare that I can find people that can see through me or speak to me in that, that way. So
Yeah.
I love when that happens. That's super cool.
Francesca just commented. I don't know if you can see the comment, but
I can't.
Francesca says like, I'm definitely on my last round. So we have like a whole spectrum of life cycles over here. I love
That's
that.
so fun.
Oh my
Hi,
gosh.
Francesca.
So tell me on a practical level. So you and your husband have a business together.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
what it
sorry,
looks
go
like on the outside is that you're just kind of hopping from Disneyland to Disneyland, you know?
That's the goal. That's what I hoped it.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm living my dream, Bara. I've never been able to say that before. I've had many years of not being in this position, and now that I am in this position, I'm so grateful. And it, funny enough, also kind of set me on a spiral of being lost again. So I met my husband 10 years ago now, and he already had this business. We have a card shop, a local brick and mortar shop, and
When you
he
say
was already
cart,
growing
what
it,
kind of cart?
sports cards and tabletop gaming.
Okay.
So, and we only deal high end. We're one of the highest end in our area, which I'm not going to exactly
Yeah.
disclose. We
Mhm.
are the highest end in the area. So it's a great niche. It works with us really well, but that was my husband's business before I came along. Now, obviously, and he was in the very like beginning stages. He was growing it alone. Him and his brother actually own it together. So, but his brother was working corporate. So when I met my husband, he was like full time, a million jillion hours a week, head down, running the shop, figuring it out, ground up. No idea what's happening, right? But like killing it because he is phenomenal and he's a genius. And then
Mm.
I come into the picture, and I happened to, at that time, I had just moved all the way across the country to Florida by myself in search of business mentors, business friends, business people, anybody except for who I was stuck with, right? So and then, so actually, before I met my husband, I wrote this very, very specific list of everything that I needed in a man, the only way I would accept it. And at the top of that list was he had to be an entrepreneur because I moved all the way across the country to find my business people. And I needed a man that already was part of that, could teach me, could call me up. Because every relationship previously, I had been the teacher, I had been the healer, I had been the breadwinner. I was the one. I'm the one to move across the country. I'm the one to call them up. And people would say, put them on a pedestal. And I'm like, no, why are you being like this when you should be like this? And it's like calling you up, whatever. That was always my thing. And I was like, I want a relationship where that's not the case. I want somebody else to call me up.
Mm.
I want somebody else to teach me and show me the way, or at least we can learn together. Like, please. Then my husband falls in my lap. Like neither of us were looking. He barely even left the shop and he still happened to find me. Like it was perfect. But peeling back the layers, I now see how I helping him grow that business and through motherhood and all this stuff.
How
Technically
old
it
is your
wasn't.
daughter now?
My daughter's 7.
7. Okay. Okay. So I'm just
So this is taking
timeline.
us back like 8 years ago. There's
Right.
probably like 2 years before my daughter
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
even born. So like we're literally talking almost 9-10 years ago. And he dang, I forget what I was saying now.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, 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 you're fine. It's me. He one of the blocks or like things that I had to overcome in this journey was, and he is very reassuring of this and does everything to reassure me, but like it was his business that I had come into, which made it hard because I had separately grown online businesses. I had blog, I was helping people breastfeed. I had a travel blog. I created a jewelry company, a custom clothing company, and I did grow these things to, be very sustainable and everything. But our main bread and butter that I also was help building and holding down the house and all the stuff wasn't technically my business. And that was really hard, but realistically, it kind of wasn't. It was just all like this internal mental game because I want to feel like I've earned every single thing.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
have, you know what I mean? But anyway, so we got to this place in life after a few years of that and growing those businesses and also growing online businesses simultaneously with growing the shop to be what it is now. We decided we were living, well, we were able to clearly see we were bringing in the income, we were raising the kid, we were doing all the things at the standard we wanted to do, except my husband's away from us all the time. Everything I did involving anything with the shop was online. I was home with my daughter. That was my main mission in life, is to raise the best kid in the whole world, simultaneously raising businesses that were support our lifestyle. And we had done that, but we did not have the location and time freedom. So we had to make a really hard decision of what that was going to look like. And we put our heads down and figured out how to get my husband out of the day to day so he could
Mhm.
actually live the life with us that we wanted to actually live.
That he
And
worked hard for, and then
so
y'all together, right?
Yes, 100%. And so we found, so, it was just a rewiring of like the business systems and allocating things out and pulling him out of things that didn't require his magic necessarily. So now being on the other side of that, we were able to put all of our time and energy into our family for the first time ever. Like, right. So this is a whole like new life. So now we've stepped away from the day to day that we used to know. My daughter goes to a little micro school, aka she barely goes to school because we keep her home a lot, but she loves it. She's social like me, so she has to have like that option.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're in like this
Do,
beautiful
do y'all
place in life.
technically homeschool?
So the micro school she goes to, it's a mix of it's like a homeschool co-op, but it also so there's options. You can go there full time, you can go there part time. I can go there once a month. Like as long as I'm kind of keeping up with
With the
and not
curriculum?
neglecting,
Yeah,
like they really
yeah,
want to make sure your kid's not neglected and you're staying there in school, but they're not. But like if I go to Europe for like 2 months, no big deal. They're
yeah,
not calling the people. We can
yeah,
literally make the decisions we want. We take
yeah.
long breaks from school.
That's a great way. Yeah.
Yeah, so we get to choose. It works so well for our family. It's very entrepreneurial based. And that was very purposeful because we knew that we wanted to pull him out of working full time. So not only can we travel, but like we can make all of the events for our daughter. We can do literally whatever we want and pour all of our time and effort into her and into
Mm-hmm.
our family because my husband also comes from worse like he comes from a really bad background. All he wants to do is be the best dad and husband in the whole world because he's never seen that. And I'm so great. Like, I don't have to beg him, ask him. He is incredible because he didn't have that and he wants to be everything he never was able to be. So
I
now with him
love.
stepping away, I know you can't even make it up, man. This isn't even something I prayed for because I didn't even know how bad I needed it.
Right.
And I couldn't have even, again, quantified it. But anyway, after all of that, and because he was so on board with figuring it
By the
out,
way,
we
keep
now
talking.
spend our time
I'm just
bouncing.
I'm just switching Bluetooth, but just keep talking. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, no worries. So yeah, now we've created this beautiful intentional life where we literally spend a lot of our time at Disneyland because we live only a couple hours from there and we'll go for like a week and actually we're debating on going tomorrow or like the next few days just because, like
I
I've
love
never even gone as a kid. I actually went one time with my school class trip, but my family didn't take me. We didn't go on, fun big vacations and trips and explore and spend money and do all the things. So now I'm like in this era of life where not only am I growing online businesses and finding myself a little deeper, but also figuring out I have a 7-year-old girl who is spicy and awesome and she's smart and she's deep and she's an extrovert. And then now my husband being with us, we're figuring out like how to move as a family and it's honestly been the best journey ever, but I'm so, so grateful specifically that we built the shop, but also was able to get him out because I can't imagine, sunken cost fallacy. I think that's what's sunken cost
Mhm.
fallacy. Like you stick
You're
with the
so
shop and do
deep
all the
in.
thing so deep in you can't see your way out. And I think we've created like this beautiful system of being able to really check each other and call each other up and call each other out and pivot and just make sure we're actually going for the goals that make sense for our family rather than the goals that make sense for the rest of society. And that's been a really big switch over the past maybe 2 years now.
Yeah. So what I see for you, and I'm not even sure if I'm just catching the like the vibes or whether it's like the practical, but do you know is it Magnolia? The woman, and I think it's her husband who like decorate houses. I think they used to do fixer uppers. Now they have a magazine. They have their own town, vacation town. They have
Cool.
their two TV channels. They have like that's what I'm seeing for you. Like
Yeah.
where you're not just you obviously I know you're gonna niche out into certain skill set and teaching others and helping people learn other skill sets that you already have, but like as a whole, I can see you, your husband, and your beautiful daughter like have their own TV channel that's
Me
like
too.
because y'all been doing life
Me
together.
too. Yeah.
Like
And we all have the personality for it. I definitely
yeah.
think something and so you know what? One of the like controversial things that I used to debate between, but I don't anymore, is whether we have our daughter online or not. And I see both sides to why you should, why you shouldn't. Um, but I think you have to make that decision based on who you are as a person and who like your family is as people.
Mhm.
Me and my entire little tiny family that we've created are extreme extroverts and we are very like front of stage people. my daughter is going to be, whether I bring her to the internet or not, she's going to be on the internet. She's going to be on TV. She like I don't know what that means, but like same with my husband and same with me. So for a family specifically like us, like we do decide, I don't throw her up there a lot. I don't use her for views. I don't need it. I don't need her to like, prove my point, but she likes to, I'm a cheer coach and she likes to dance and cheer and stuff. So like it makes sense that I teach her little cutesy dances and we might do them, or it's like certain little things, or she loves little skits and stuff. Like trust me, nobody is begging this girl to do them. Like this is all her
Word.
personality. She was born for this. So like anyway, I do love that she is like that, and I love that my husband's like that, because it's such an obvious yes that like we probably will be on TV one day, or we will create our own internet
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
or we haven't quite like put those pieces together, but absolutely that is going to be a part of something, because it's all in our DNA. Like we very clearly were born for this role, and that's very clearly why we all came together the way we did. So I
I
love that you
love
said that, because I don't know how that's going to
Yeah.
happen either. It's probably going to have something to do with some type of entrepreneurship, because I kind of already say like
Mhm.
I'm not into reality TV, but one of the things I've done over the past I don't want to say I'm not into reality TV, because I am now, because I actually decided a few years ago that I wanted to start watching Real Housewives of whatever, because I want to see rich people problems. I want to see rich people fights. I want to see rich people, you know what I mean? Like if people are going to complain on TV, I want to see rich people complaints. I want to see people
I
I
want
want to see
pretty
the
people and and like very 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 rich people.
100%. And whether I agree with, I don't have to be all up in their drama, but in order to really understand how to live at that level, I want to see the daily nuances of it. So when I started watching reality TV specifically, I watched Bravo because I believe they showcase that so beautifully. And again, not that I don't want to be friends with the people on the Real Housewives. Like I don't think I would let them in my orbit. They're not my people, but I love being able to see glimpses of their lifestyle, the things that they argue about, the things that they care about, the things they fight for, the things in their relationship that I would never agree to. And, because seeing that from their angle is way
Yeah.
different than watching somebody that like I would never be in that situation anyway, So I would love to almost bring our entrepreneurialness to some type of reality TV show or
Literally, I think it's
something.
they're Magnolia. I think it's Magnolia. We'll have to check it out later. Again, they have a
Yeah,
whole vacation town now. They
insane.
are all their products are at Target. They started with just fixing up houses,
Yeah,
and they
that's
have their own
awesome.
physical magazine. Like, and
Yeah.
they have your like anything crafts now. And touching on that Bravo, what I really, because this was my first year where I saw Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I only got on there because of Amanda Francis.
Yeah. I was really
And
excited about her being on there. We actually
yeah,
talked about that for a second,
right,
because
right,
I'm not into celebrities, and like I just don't know a lot of them. Like, and I've been around enough where I don't know. Again, they're not, I don't
same,
pedestal them,
yeah.
just like you said.
Because you live life. So I'm like,
Exactly.
when
We
people
get
go
it.
like, "Did you know?" I'm like, I don't even know who that is. Like, obviously, if I see their face because I've seen a movie, but I have zero idea what celebrities are doing. And like,
Same.
maybe I'm living the celebrity life. I have zero like so.
Same.
But what we talked about is that so in Europe you have the blue blood, right? You have the royalty, and because America is so young, you don't have aristocrats as you have the financial classes in Europe, right? So
Okay.
the celebrities, and this is what Bravo really did really good. So you have these rich housewives who've been rich housewives for many many decades because they're the wife or partner or whatever relation to these huge financial empires.
Yeah.
Then you have someone like Amanda Francis who's self-made, and you see a
Yes.
class differentiation, not because of money, because Amanda Francis has significantly more money than some of the Real Housewives now, but because of the self-madeness
Yes.
versus being brought in as an arm candy. And by the way, I am not neglecting, as someone who's
Yep.
from the health industry, right? Being a sugar baby, being the pretty housewife is a lot of work because you're not just pretty. You have to be the punching bag, hopefully not physically, but like
Right.
energetic punching bag. You have to be the cheerleader. You have to be the house manager. You have to be the aesthetic pleasing one. So there's a lot to that, but you do
100%.
not contain the skill of entrepreneurship, which requires constant resolution, solution, innovation, right? And
The
that's why
introspectiveness, the awareness, you haven't gone through those
exactly
journeys.
right. So that's why the friction between the Real Housewives and Amanda was just that.
Yes, and they don't
Mhm.
even know that because they're not self-aware enough to
It's
see
like
that that's the
nouveau
actual
rich and
problem.
self-made rich, completely
Yes,
different.
because her standards had to be different, you know,
Mhm,
she had
mhm,
to operate different, what she
mhm,
believed in herself, all the things. That's
mhm.
something that either you go through or you don't,
Right,
either
and
you
and
learn it
they
and
perceived
overcome
it.
it
Yep,
or don't.
and they perceived it as bragging, and she's like, "No, I'm just sharing, like, because for a self-made entrepreneur to be able to say, "Oh my god, I was so excited when I bought my first Chanel."
Yep.
Like, I am
It
not
hits
hearing.
way different than somebody else saying anything about Chanel. Yep.
Right, and as a self-made entrepreneur, I'm not hearing her, "I can buy Chanel." What I'm hearing, "Oh my god, the money I had to make, which required so much learning, which required so much falling and stepping up, which required crying, eliminating certain behaviors, activities." That's what I'm hearing when she says, "I was so excited when I bought my first Chanel." And I'm like,
100%.
"Let's go, baby.
Yep.
Let's go."
Bringing her on there was a game changer, and it's so fun because I don't know that the rest of America sees why it was so important the way we see it, you know what I mean? And she was also, because I'm not into celebrities and I don't know people, she was the first person on the show that, like, I have her book. I knew who she was. I
Word,
already liked her
word,
work. I'm already in her
word.
world, you
Yeah.
know? And that's so far from everybody else I've ever seen on any Real Housewives anything. So that was such a cool connection, and I really dove into that season deeper,
Mhm.
and it was really cool to be able to see how different she was than everybody else because of the journey she went on. The self journey and her own standards and everything she overcame was so much different than everybody else. And it was such a beautiful representation of like how the actual real world is for people like us when everybody else around us doesn't get it. Like I've never, not bragged, but never even like celebrated outside of myself big wins until I paid to be in masterminds because it was no longer a bragging. It was more of like a momentum. It was you have to start speaking things to get comfortable speaking them. Well, if everybody around you thinks you're crazy or thinks you're bragging or thinks, all these things that aren't true because they haven't done the work to get there, like who do you speak these things to? You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Who do you say? How do you normalize these numbers coming out of your mouth when they actually just stay in your head for years and years? How do you normalize actually wanting the Chanel bag, let alone achieving the Chanel bag and like letting it be something to be proud of rather than, all the things that people try to say about you for like achieving the big thing.
Well,
I
and even
just
how do you have conversations around I love champagne problems, my favorite fucking problem in the world.
100% all day. Bring them in, baby. We
Any
can handle
day,
them.
any day. But how do you there's only the only way you can have champagne problems conversations is around people who have champagne problems too, and
Yeah,
who preferably are one champagne level ahead.
exactly.
Right, because otherwise you're like, well, we're all trying to solve this, and we will, because you will, but like noticing that it is a champagne problem, and that your level of problems in life has elevated to champagne problems.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yes. And you know what? I feel like, again, until I paid for my friends and masterminds, but
Mhm,
I didn't even realize the problems I was having were
mhm,
champagne problems. And then the cool thing about that mental switch and being able to see that
mhm.
is you handle your problems differently. I'm like more proud of my problems. This is the problems I have to deal with. Yes,
Any day.
finally. Are you kidding me? And that sounds, again, crazy to other people, but I love this kind of crazy. I would never want to be something else. I
Yeah.
love not being relatable, but it took a long time for me to love it, and I
And
think
there's
that's
a solitude or loneliness to it
yes.
until
As an
there's this.
extrovert, which is weird, how do you deal with the
Right.
loneliness, but you're also surrounded by people 'cause you're an extrovert, but, like, if they don't get it, you're still alone in it, and that was really hard. That was probably the hard I feel like I've been talking about that a lot lately. That was probably the hardest part of my journey was the loneliness of it, and I wonder now if it's because I do love people. I love connection, and, like,
Mhm,
I just want that back, and maybe that's why that's my role and part of my role in this lifetime is to make sure other people like me have that and know they're not alone or,
mhm,
know they can be called up, know that there are others of us. You're just maybe not seeing, beyond your little hometown or whatever that is. But I love being an example of that, and lately over the past couple years, like people have gone out of their way to let me know that I have been the example of that. And not that I need the justification or like the validation, but it's nice to know that it means something, because I want it. My whole life is to be beyond myself. So if I wasn't impacting people positively, then what I'm doing needs to shift until I am, So it was really important to me to know that I was positively impacting other people just by being myself, even when it didn't make sense. And I think I still struggle with that sometimes, but so much less because I actually realized I'm not alone. I was just in like the wrong realm. I couldn't see the other people like me because I hadn't yet gone to the next level, or maybe allowed myself to fully be immersed in
Right,
it, or
right.
whatever that
Yeah.
is. But the loneliness of it was so hard, and it sucks because there's so many people in this world. Like, sis, you don't have to be alone, We
Right.
got you, we love you, we're here for you.
And it's what I have gotten hung up with in the past. And maybe it's look, I speak 9 languages, so I'm very, very analytical in how language is being used. So when we
Oh.
say the word, like when we say the phrase like to be yourself, right?
Mm.
Which is, you don't understand that until you're there, because until you understand what it's like to be yourself, right, you're still kind of operating from all these like different lenses. Because the majority of the people, when you say like, hey, I'm being paid to be myself, they'll be like, oh, so you're just like chilling on a beach, or like I can get paid to do nothing. And I'm like, and for the longest time there's like a demonization around making
100%.
money, working and loving the grind. Baby, I'm a work
Yep.
baby. And I
Love
always
it.
say as a joke, like the more money I make, like the harder I'm actively making my life. I'm now in a 65 acres. We're looking at 400 acres. Like, baby, I'm gonna have a full working ranch. Like,
Yes.
I want it to be hard. Like,
Yes.
how can we make this harder, baby?
Yes. That's how you grow your capacity. That's how you grow your muscle. That's how you're able to
It
hold
feels so
more. Are you
good.
kidding me?
So
Yes.
good, baby. What do you mean?
Ah,
Like,
it
I
fuels me.
semi-retired at age 31, and I tried 2 months on the, let me just chill on a beach. After day 2, I was like, I might actually fucking find I might actually drown myself here. Like,
Yeah.
this
You
this
might
is
as
not.
well. If you plan on doing nothing on a beach, you just go in the ocean and drown yourself. Like, what? I don't know. Even like one day on the beach, I'm still doing something, and I go to the beach a lot. Like
And the brain
you
is like, and I'm like, solution that, solution that. Ooh, like mind is calm now. Oh, all of a solution in the back of the mind. Oh, I thought, oh, like, and it
every time.
every time. Yep,
Because we
yep,
just operate differently. And
yep,
I've grown to love myself so much for that, and love other people so much for that.
yeah.
And especially when you can kind of like see that in somebody else, or pull it out of them, or give them the permission that like they've actually been yearning for forever, but like nobody else, they
Yes.
haven't seen anybody else operate in this way and be successful at it. And I used to love, one of the things I loved about just being in certain people's world is when they show how they deal with the things that I was so scared of, such as a hate comment or like a whole slander campaign. And everybody that I've watched get through that has been perfectly fine. So like now I'm no longer scared of them, because if everybody else can get through them, so can I. Who cares? If it's part of the mission, buckle me up, baby. Right? Like if that's what is on the other side, or if everything I want is on the other side of that, then let's fucking go. But it took me being around people who went through that, and they were self-aware enough, and also helpful enough and vulnerable enough to show that in their journey, so I could see them lead themselves through it and see like, oh, it's gonna be perfectly fine. Not even just perfectly fine, but like on the other side of that seemingly scary thing, which actually ends up not being nearly as scary as you think it is, as always, right? Is everything you ever wanted, is the exact muscle, is the person, is the opportunity, whatever that looks like at the time. And I'm just obsessed with growth, and I'm obsessed with people who help facilitate growth and who are vulnerable enough to show their growth, because the mix of those type of people is 100% why I was able to step into like me being my real self. Which now that it's so funny, because now that you mentioned like having different or speaking different languages, I can see how words matter and like verbiage of things matter, and they can mean different things in different languages, and how being yourself like wouldn't make sense to somebody else, because how are you not yourself? Like you're not somebody else, you know what I mean? But man, if you
Well,
get it.
and just a little side note on the language thing, like when you speak multiple languages, you start seeing how language impacts culture and one's relations to things. So in America, you pay attention.
Oh, okay.
In Spain, you gift attention,
Oh, I got the chills.
right? In Germany, you give attention. In Slavic languages, you do attention, right? So
I can
it
see how
all.
that impacts each culture differently.
Mhm, mhm.
Totally.
And I always say, like, people, what about the English language like annoys me is when people go like, I want this. I'm like, no, no, no. Wanting is a verb, it's an activity. What you actually mean is, if this thing would happen to fall into my lap without me having to do anything for it, I would enjoy it. But that's not what I like. So I'm always like,
Yep.
you want it, or would you like it if it just will? No, no, because wanting is an activity, baby, and I can instantly tell whether you are wanting something or not.
Dang, that's really good. And that completely changes how you go about your wanting. Because if wanting was framed in that way of you actively going for it, then there's probably going to be a lot more motion forward. But in the typical American way, and the typical
And
American lifestyle is a
America is
lot
the
of
ultimate champagne problem, right? So
it is
I'll never, like, I love that we live, and people get so upset with this for me. I'm like, baby, y'all don't understand. Anxiety, overthinking is an American thing.
privilege. Yes.
Baby, that means you ain't gotta fucking survive. And people are like, no, me, and they're very married to their overthinking and over
Yep.
their anxiety. No, it's my abusive partner, and I can't because of my anxiety. I'm like, baby, you gotta turn this around. You
Yep.
get to have anxiety because you have so much free time. Woo!
And
How
now if you
good.
just learn to utilize that free
Woo!
time, girl. Yes. They don't even know, Bara.
So
They
good,
don't even
baby.
know. I
Champagne
agree.
problem.
I
America's the
love
best.
them. Listen, champagne problems all day.
Any
I love
okay.
them.
So what champagne problem are you hoping to unlock within the next 2 years?
Ooh, that's a fun question. Um, I am hoping. So right now we're planning, kind of putting together a little bucket list.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping there's so many places and experiences that we want to experience that we like don't have time to do it all in the amount of time that we're trying to do it. So we have to extend that time.
Mhm.
Um, I hope I hope we meet so many great people that we can't figure out how to like what to do with them all in our orbit. Like who to help here and who to plug in here and who to collab with here. Like I hope there's such an influx of
Mhm.
amazingness and opportunities that everything's going to happen the way it's going to happen. So I hope we get to touch all these people in the way that we're supposed to, and I hope we feel overwhelmed with goodness. I hope we feel overwhelmed with impact. Um, I hope I hope I have to deal with my nervous system freaking out when we get to such a amazing level of like vulnerability and reach that I have to like recalibrate and figure out how to get through that because I will.
Mhm.
I hope a lot of that.
I
A
love
lot
it.
of, so much goodness that we don't know what to do with it that we have to like create an actual plan so we can facilitate it in like the greatest way possible. I really we're stepping into a season of travel, but also a season of connection. I really want to focus on because we've stepped away from the business and then we spent a year recalibrating what that looks like and finding ourselves. And my husband's in the middle of that journey too. And it's really beautiful that we get to do it together. I've prayed for this for so long. I'm so grateful. I really hope so the next phase of this is like getting more people around us and in our orbit to collab with, to cross path, whatever magic is supposed to be exchanged. We'll figure that out in the time. But I just want more people. Um, I have my friends online. We haven't had found really our circle in person, and we're
Mhm.
extroverts. So I really would like.
Mhm.
I would like to have so many extroverted people around me. We don't know what to do about, just people that like get it, that are
Yeah.
I hate to say on our level, but we've definitely elevated over the past few weeks or
Mhm.
past few years. And I truly don't feel like there's a lot of people in our circle that are mentally on our level, just in different like internal ways. We haven't met many other couples that operate like we do, that are as peaceful as we are, that have the standards that we have, that have the parenting outlooks that we have. So I actually hope that we're the ones to create that. So I think we'll be creating a space for that. So I just hope there's an influx of the exact people that we're calling in, and I'm gonna leave room for whatever magic is meant to happen. But I hope it's just such a flood that like, we have to recalibrate the nervous systems. We have to go to our mentors and ask what to do.
It's too
I
much
want
goodness.
more
Help.
champagne problems, baby. Like give them to me. Yes. We
So
just had a really cool champagne, but like a more tactical problem. But like we just had a $20,000 shipment lost in the mail. And that was just the product, not for what we sell it for. Like there's a lot of profit that could have been lost. And like, so that's a champagne problem. I'm so grateful and so blessed to have been worried about the shipment, but also didn't have to worry about it because we were going to be fine either way. Like, what am I talking about right now? That's crazy. I'm so not that I want more shipments to be lost, but I'm very grateful to be in a position that we can handle anything. So whatever problems come our way, no
you
big
good.
deal. Yeah. So at this point, more champagne problems because the growth that comes on the other side of those, I feel like I
Yeah.
could name them forever, but um yeah, I'm just grateful to be here, man. It's such a cool life and such a cool journey, surrounded by the coolest people. And I'm still definitely figuring out my way, which is super fun. And I was frustrated about it, but I kind of love that I'm still figuring it out, I love having the space and ability and time and freedom to figure it out and figure out who I am and what that means for me. And I can impact the world greatly in so many ways, but what's going to be the greatest way? What's going to be the way that feels the best for me and call in my favorite people in the whole world?
And like, what's going to be the chariot that will bring you to that thing?
Literally. Maybe
Yeah.
something not even in my orbit. Yeah, like who knows, I actually really I hated being in this space of not knowing, and I've learned to love it. It's so fun. And I live by the phrase leave room for the magic, and I'm
Yeah.
just leaning into that. I'm leaving room for the magic and also fiercely running towards where I think the magic is. And at some
Right.
point our worlds are going to collide and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah. It's so good. The like the void, I call it the void usually.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
Like in
do.
being in the void, there's this frustrating aspect within the self that just wants to come on, give me some clarity. Like
Yeah.
I'm actively seeking, right? Like unpuzzling, give me the clarity. I'm looking for the clarity. I'm looking for the thing that can give me the clarity, that can bring me
I'm
the
begging.
look, right? And then
Literally.
there's and like usually it'll just land at some point, and you're just like, well, could I have not done this without all the fucking frustration?
And the crazy thing is, I already know it's going to be something right in front of my face.
Yep.
It's something I've either already touched on or I just needed to
Yep.
refine a little bit or,
Yep.
so the ahas, it's the best part. They're always like, that was such a little aha, but
You're like,
man, did it open up this incredible path.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm fiercely going for it
yeah,
while it
yeah.
does and helping everybody along the way. But I
Word.
haven't found the one thing that like I found a few of them. Maybe I have
Mhm,
to mesh them together.
mhm.
We'll figure out what that means. But I actually really love being in this place of figuring it out. So I'm just embracing it and fumbling forward. And I'm going to
Yeah.
continue to do that because I've realized that's how I like to live my life. I like to
Yep.
fumble forward and take
Yep.
away, the extra stresses and restraints and the supposed tos and whatever. That never worked for me.
Word. Oh my God. Okay, babe, we'll just have to do this one more time again.
Can we?
Oh, endlessly. Again, this is the
And
great about having a podcast. I can do whatever I want.
true,
Um,
there's no rules.
like there's no so my first podcast became the top 5% most listened to podcast in the world, and then I got sued for the name by a financial company. And I'm like, y'all could have just emailed me, be like, hey, you're the first
Literally.
20 Google pages are about you. I'm like, oh, no worries, I'll change it. I'm not attached to this name. I'm like, but
Right.
no, the lawsuit is still going. So whatever. So we have a new one now. Anyway, we'll have to do this more often. I'll put
Please
all
do.
your links everywhere. People are very good at like, checking the notes and following.
They'll
And
figure it out.
so good. So good.
I want to let you know how grateful I am. And Barrett, you are truly one of my favorite people ever. The world is so much better because you're in it. The amount of like vulnerability and introspect, I just can't get over it enough because I don't even think you know how much you helped me on my journey. And I feel like I'm pretty advanced in many ways. So I can't even imagine the impacts you have that you don't even know about. So and I can't wait till this podcast is like number one because I love people, but I don't tell everybody this, but like you are one of the most magical beings I've ever met. And everybody feels that way about you. And obviously that causes some friction, but like I'm so endlessly grateful for the human that you are. And we were accidentally brought to, not even accidentally, but we were purposely brought to the same world. And like I've known it from day one that like just all the little magical pieces that I keep getting to pick up because of who you are was also purposeful. And I don't think people go out of their way to tell you that. I don't know if they do, but I know that that's true for many, many, many more people as well. So keep being you, keep being all of you, and everything that that entails, because it truly is like and if this is your first time on earth, that's crazy, because you literally are just like this most magical soul. So before you let me go, I want to let
Thank you
you
so
know
much.
that, because I mean it like with everything in me.
So for the listeners, I'm just fucking bawling my eyes out here. I'm doing the ugly cry. I'm an ugly cry. I don't mind. I don't mind. Like,
No, you're not.
no, I'm good, baby. I'll do that. And I'm like looking back at me. I'm like, damn, bitch, you ugly when you cry. That's okay. That
You
means it's
literally are
real.
not.
I adore you. Tell the hubby and the kid I said hi.
I
This
sure
will be
will.
up tomorrow or something, and then I'll link you everywhere, and we'll just do it again.
I can't wait. I love you and I appreciate
Everyone,
you.
rich and hydrated. Let's hydrate together because we've been talking.
Cheers.
There we go. Everyone follow, go like everywhere. You'll be really surprised. Like, it's literally so healing, so much fun, and so real to watch you. So everyone, let's go rich and hydrated. See y'all at the next episode.
Thank you. Bye.